Ladies and gentlemen, in the state of Washington, they're trying to track the murder hornets, but they're not having such an easy time of doing it. What they have been trying to do is trace these hornets to find out where their nest is and try to eradicate the state from these murder hornets. But the problem is, every time they try to track them, they're losing. Um, they even tried putting tracking devices on him, and that still didn't work. They still lost track of these murder hornets. I'm going to go ahead and play this article that came out October 17th, 2020 from NPR.
The pursuit of the Asian giant hornet, also known as the murder hornet, has suffered a major setback. Washington state officials said this week they had successfully trapped a hornet and fitted a tracking device to the belly of the winged beast, but not long after they released her into the wild, the trail went cold. It actually flies a lot faster than we can run through 10-foot-high blackberry hedges, so it outflew us. That's Sven-Eric Spiessuger, chief entomologist with Washington State's Department of Agriculture. He and his team are in a race to try to find the nests of the invasive species, as this is the time they head underground to hunker down for the winter and make more hornets. We've decided we were going to attempt to eradicate it because it's a pretty severe pest of honeybees and other managed pollinators. And as we found out in the last 2 weeks, it's also pretty voraciously preying on our local wasp and yellow jacket populations as well. We're trying to follow it so that we can locate the nest and then eradicate the nest. How did it become known as the murder hornet? Well, not for attacking humans, but for its ruthless assault of bees. Only a couple of hornets can slaughter an entire healthy honeybee hive in just a matter of a few hours, and it's really a brutal attack. They basically will decapitate all the inhabitants of the hive and leave them in a pile out in front of the hive, and then spend the next few days harvesting the pupae and the larvae as a food source. How's your breakfast cereal look after that? Most sightings of the insects have been up along the Washington State and British Columbia border, but they're still rare. Just finding a live murder hornet to attach a tracking device takes luck. Actually, the first one we got was mildly by chance. We were investigating a homeowner report where he had seen a few of them around his wasp nests, and our other entomologist happened to be having a conversation with him when one flew up, and he was able to net it out of the air. Then, a technical malfunction. We were attempting to attach the tag with glue, but our glue did not dry fast enough. And in the time it took for us to get in there and try to get the tag back on, some glue had unfortunately come into contact with the wings, and the hornet was no longer able to fly. Next time, they tied the tracking device to the hornet with dental floss, mint or unflavored. You just make a little loop in the dental floss, and all wasps, hornets, and yellow jackets have what we call a petiole. That's the skinny area or the thread waist, and we simply slip that little noose over the abdomen onto the petiole and cinch it down, and it works just like wearing a belt with a transponder on it. After letting the hornet feast on strawberry jam to build strength, they released it back into the wild, and off the hornet flew. As Mr. Spiessuger said, eventually heading into a forest of blackberry bushes where they lost the signal. But they'll try again. We're switching to one that has a much greater range and that has a longer battery life. We know we're very close to it, and so it's just a matter of time and just keep plugging away and working at it. Sven-Eric Spiessuger, optimist, entomologist, and master dental floss hornet wrangler, speaking to us about the hunt for the Asian giant hornet in the wilds of Washington State.
Well, it looked like these hornets are outwitting them. It's like they got to keep trying a different and new tracking device, and it is just simply not working. Ladies and gentlemen, they're going to have a hell of a time getting rid of this thing. They really are. One thing I do have to say, and this is not against anybody in Washington State, I'm glad them things are not where I am. you know, Now, I know eventually they are going to spread. It is inevitable. They're not going to stay in one spot forever. But for now, I take a sigh of relief that they're not where I am. So we know these are giant Asian hornets, and they pretty much can wipe out a variety of different bees, as you heard on the audio. So that's where their name comes from. And when I read articles when it originally, was knowledge that this thing was here, it said on an average it killed about 50 Asians a year. Because when you get over to the Asian nations, that's where it is. I was reading it's in China, it's in Japan, it's in Singapore, so it's all over there when, in those nations. So it's native to East Asia. It's a predatory insect, first spotted in North America about a year ago. Most sightings have occurred in Washington State and British Columbia. So they have been attempting to locate where they are nesting for the past few months, and everything they have tried so far has failed. So, and they're right, they go in the ground, they burrow themselves into the ground. So once they do that, you're not going to have a chance of finding their nest at that point. And, from what I see, the few times I've seen the nest on a video, they keep them pretty camouflaged. You could walk past a tree and it's up there and you won't see it. So they stay pretty camouflaged. So, you heard what they said. They feel like they're getting close to successfully being able to track one of them. Well, best of luck to you. But even if you try to eradicate them, that is going to take some time. And who's to say they won't spread into other states as you're trying to eradicate them in Washington? I would think if once you start eradicating them, won't they start migrating elsewhere where nobody will bother them? So to me, that's going to cause them to spread. But y'all can tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.